کیا رہا خیموں میں شیکے ایک اداسی رہ گئی، صرف رونے کو محمد کی نواسی رہ گئی، سج گئی قاسم کے ٹکڑوں سے ادھر کر وہ بلا، سج گئی قاسم کے ٹکڑوں سے ادھر کر وہ بلا، ماں ادھر بیٹے کی دلہن کو سجاتی رہ گئی، کیا رہا خیموں میں شیکے ایک اداسی رہ گئی، چھینتا تھا شمر چادر اور زینب بار بار چھینتا تھا شمر چادر اور زینب بار بار اپنی چادر کے محافظ کو بلاتی رہ گئی، کیا رہا خیموں میں شیکے ایک اداسی رہ گئی، خون دل عباس کا سب بہہ گیا رن میں مگر، خون دل عباس کا سب بہہ گیا رن میں مگر، دل میں بس ایک بات زینب کی رضا کی رہ گئی، اے مسلمانوں تمہاری غیرت کیا کھو گئی، اے مسلمانوں تمہارے غیرتیں کیا کھو گئی، تم تماشائی تھی زینب منہ چھپاتی رہ گئی. کیا رہا خیموں میں شیکے ایک اداسی رہ گئی. قید میں بالی سکینہ کو ملا باکسر. قید میں بالی سکینہ کو ملا باکسر. منہ پہ منہ رکھ کر جو سوئی ماں جگاتی رہ گئی. کیا رہا خیموں میں شیکے ایک اداسی رہ گئی. ہر تماچے پر سکینہ منہ پہ رکھ کر ننھے ہاتھ. ہر تماچے پر سکینہ منہ پہ رکھ کر ننھے ہاتھ. نیل رخ ساروں کے غازی کو دکھاتی رہ گئی. کیا رہا خیموں میں شیکے ایک
مقتل میں گر رہا ہے، مقتل میں گر رہا ہے، سنبھالو حسین کو یا فاطمہ ردا میں چھپا لو حسین کو. پیوست ہے غریب کے پہلو میں برچیاں، تم کو بھی اٹھنے دیتی نہیں ٹوٹی پسلیاں. لے کر علی کا نام فاطمہ رضا میں چھپا لو حسین کو سولہ پہر کی پیاس ہے اور ہے لبوں پہ دم دے کر غریب بیٹے کو عباس کی قسم پانی اگر ملے تو پانی اگر ملے تو پلا لو حسین کو یا فاطمہ رضا میں چھپا لو حسین کو زینب صدائی دیتی ہے اے بے قرار ماں زخموں کو مل کے باندھے گی حیدر کی بیٹیاں خیمے میں کے باہر خیمے میں کے باہر بلا لو حسین کو یا فاطمہ رضا میں چھپا لو حسین کو
ہائے اے رونے والوں ہے یہ روایات میں لکھا جس دم قیام کوفے میں مختار نے کیا جو بھی تھے قاتلان شہیدان کربلا ارے ان میں سے کوئی جب بھی گرفتار ہوتا تھا حکم امیر پر وہ ستم جب سناتا تھا مختار سر کو پیٹ کے بس روتا جاتا تھا ہائے ایک روز تھا یہ کوفے کے دربار کا سما ابن نمیر اپنے ستم کرتا تھا بیان توڑی تھی میں نے سینہ اکبر میں خود سنا اٹھتا تھا شور خیموں سے مارا گیا جوان ماں جیتے جی گزر گئی زینب بھی مر گئی ایک برچھی میری کتنے جگر پار کر گئی. ہائے ایک روز کر کے لایا گیا ہرملا سی. بولا وہ رن میں نے چلائے تھے 3 تیر. اس وقت پہلا تیر چلایا تھا اے امیر. بھر کر چلا جو مشق کو مظلوم کا سفیر. مشکیزے سے جو تیر میرا پار ہو گیا، ایسا لگا کہ قتل علمدار ہو گیا. ہاں بولا نہیں یہ کرب کا ہے دوسرا مقام. لائے جو اپنی گود میں بے شیر کو امام. سوکھی زباں پھراتا تھا ہونٹوں پہ تشنہ کام. یوں قطع ابن زہرا کا میں نے کیا کلام. ہل ہل گیا لحد میں جگر بوتراب کا، اور مقتل میں نہر ہو گیا بچہ رباب کا. ہاں دربار میں یہ سن کے قیامت کا تھا سما. ارے پیرو جوان روتے تھے لے لے کے ہچکیاں. بولا یہ ہرملا بھی باقی ہے داستاں. جس دم تیرا حسین تھا تیروں کے درمیان، وہ تیر آخری تھا جو میں نے چلایا تھا. اور اس تیر نے حسین کو زیں سے گرایا تھا. ہائے پھر شوروا حسین کا اٹھتا تھا بار بار. جب قید کر کے لایا گیا شمر بدشیا. بولا وہ میرے ہاتھ میں خنجر تھا تیز دھار، جس سے کیے حسین کی گردن پہ تیرا وار. خنجر روا تھا حلق پہ ابن بطول کے، دل کٹ رہے تھے ساتھ میں آل رسول کے، ہائے اب اس کے بعد میر تکلم بیاں ہو کیا، اے پرسادارو سوچنا دل میں کبھی ذرا، کیوں اتنا وقت قاتل شبیر کو لگا، کس واسطے حسین کا کٹتا نہ تھا گلا، محشر میں یہ کھلے گا ستم کائنات پر، خنجر کے کچھ نشان ہیں زہرا کے ہاتھ پر۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔
گھبرائے گی گھبرائے گی بھیا تمہیں گھر جا کے کہاں پائے گی زینب، گھبرائے گی زینب، کیسا یہ بھرا گھر ہوا، برباد الہی کیا تباہی، اب اس کو نہ بعد کبھی پائے گی زینب، گھبرائے گی زینب، گھر جا کے کسے دیکھے گی قاسم پوچھیں گے جو سب لوگ کے بازو پہ ہوا کیا یہ نیل ہے کیسا کس کس کو نشان رس کے دکھلائے گی زینب پھٹ جائے گا بس دیکھتے ہی گھر کو کلیجا یاد آؤگے بھیا دل ڈھونڈے گا تم کو تو کہاں پائے گی زینب گھبرائے گی زینب اور بے پردہ ہوئی قید بھی خواہر نے اٹھائی اور موت نہ آئی کیا جانیے کیا کیا بھی دکھ پائے گی زینب گھبرائے گی زینب محمد وعلى محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم
اللهم صل على
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد وصلى اللهم على آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين قال الله الحكيم في القرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Karbala was a battleground on the 10th of Muharram, And Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was victorious in his mission. He did not care if he gave his life for the life of his loved ones and his companions and family members, as long as the religion of Mustafa remained alive. The Fatih of Ashura was Muhammad Mustafa. The Fatih of that battle that started after the Shahadat of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein on Shaam Ghareeban was none other than Sayyidah Zainab salamullahi alayha. When Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, when his head was cut off from his body and his head was put on a lance, that incident marked the end of the imamat of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and the beginning of the imamat of Imam Sajjad. When the head of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was being chopped, the earth started to shake. There was wind moving around everywhere. There were the athar of Qayamat al-Sughra occurring everywhere. Lady Zainab salamullahi alayha, she asked her nephew Imam Sajjad, "O son, O Sajjad, what is happening? What is it that I see over here?" Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, he says to his Aunt Zainab, "Aunt Zainab, remove the opening from the tent. Remove the opening from the tent." He looked and he saw his father's severed head on a lance. He says, "Assalamu alayka, ya Aba Abdullah. Peace be on you, O Aba Abdullah. Peace be on you, O Aba Abdullah." And as soon as he says this, his head goes into sajda. The famous Khatib and Alim of the Indo-Pak tradition, Ayatollah Sayyid Aqil al-Gharawi, says that when we say that Imam Sajjad's head went into sajda, the earth was feeling that Waliul Amr might not be alive anymore, that there is no Waliul Amr that is alive anymore. When Imam Sajjad, he felt the earth shaking and the winds moving and the athar of Qayamat al-Sughra happening. They opened the tent for him and he saw his father's head. He realized the earth was trembling because Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, his head was cut off, and Imam Hussein had become shaheed. Therefore, to give solace to the world, he puts his head down in sajda, and he says to the world, there is a Waliul Amr that is still alive today. Imam Sajjad puts his head on the ground, and the night and the musibat of Shaam Ghareeban begin. The first musibah, the first battle, the first fighting of this war of Shaam Ghareeban, which took place after Karbala, was not on the haram of Ahlul Bayt, was not on the tent, it was not on Imam Sajjad, it was not on Sakina, it was on the body of Sayyid al-Shuhada. The enemies had wanted to trample over the bodies of the martyrs of Imam al-Hussein's friends and companions and family members. Every time they would go to one body, their loved ones from the tribes belonging to Yazid's army would say, "No, we will not allow you to trample over or desecrate our loved one." When Habib ibn Malah's time came, and when they had discussed trampling his body, his tribesmen took his body away and said, "We will not let you trample over the body of our loved one." When Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, when they had decided to trample over the body of Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, Muslim ibn al-Sajjad, the tribesmen from Yazid's camp that belonged to the same tribe as these individuals, as the Shuhada of Imam al-Hussein's family and friends and companions, they came and said, "We will not let you trample over the body of Zuhair ibn al-Qayn. We will not let you trample over the body of Muslim ibn al-Sajjad." Then they came for Ahlul Bayt. They had wanted to trample over the body of Ali and al-Akbar. The tribesmen of Layla's tribe came and said, "We will not let you trample over the body of Ali and al-Akbar." On and Muhammad, the tribesmen from their family members, Muhammad's body were not trampled over. Qasim's body was not trampled over. There was one body. Not even Abbas's body was trampled over. When it came to trampling over Abbas's body, the Bani al-Asad said, we will not let you trample over the body of our master, of our chief's grandson, Abul Fadl Abbas. There was one body that did not have anybody from Yazid's side to plead for it. That was the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. Abu Abdullah al-Husain's body. They trampled over his body. The foot of the hooves of the horses trampled over the body of Abu Abdullah al-Husain. Lady Zainab heard something like glass breaking. She said to Fidda, go see what they are doing. Go see what's breaking, what's happening. Fidda goes and checks. She says to Lady Zainab, those are the bones of your brothers, that are being trampled over with the hooves of the horses. And the musibah of Shaam Ghareeban begins. The tents are burned, and one by one the enemy come. They loot the veils off the head of Ahlul Bayt. You know how they looted the veils off the head of Ahlul Bayt? They didn't come and snatch them off, no. They took their lances and their arrows and they poked the veils off the heads of the women of Ahlul Bayt and the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn, and the tents were burned one by one. The women would go from one tent to the next, and then from that tent to the next. One by one, each and every single tent was burned, until all the women and children were gathered in one tent. Lady Zainab asked Imam Sajjad the question. She asked him, tell me, O my son Sajjad, should we die in these burning tents, or should we leave these tents without our veils? Lady Zainab, she wanted to establish the hujjah, that she knew what the hukm al-shari'i was, but in front of the living imam, nobody has the right to say anything in front of the living imam. So she asked him a question, and Imam Sajjad said, Zainab, tell them to leave the tent and cover their head with their hair, and leave the tent. But then Sakina, her hair was so small it could not cover her face. All the women and the children, they ran out of the tent. Hamid ibn Muslim, who was a narrator, or a rawi from Yazid's army, he was a war storyteller. He says, I saw one woman. She would constantly approach the tent and move away. He said, what do you have in that tent that is so valuable that you are willing to sacrifice your life for it? She says to him, I have my brother's amana. Lady Zainab salamullahi alayha, she runs into the tent, and on her back she has Imam Sajjad. Oh Ali, you are the one who lifted the gates of Khaybar. Oh Hussain, you are the one who lifted the spear from the chest of Ali al-Akbar, but you are both men. Now imagine what Sayyidah Zainab had been feeling. Imagine what Sayyidah Zainab had gone through, that she has to pick up her ailing nephew from the burning tent. There was another incident that Hamid ibn Muslim narrates. He says, I saw a 4-year-old girl. I saw a 4-year-old little girl. The edges of her clothing, her kurta had been on fire. I had wanted to put out the fire. I went near her. She said, "Eh Sheikh, मुझ पे हाथ न लगाना, मैं सैयदा की पोती हूँ." Oh Sheikh, don't come near me. I am the granddaughter of Fatimatu Zahra. Don't you dare come near me. I am not your mahram. Even though she was a 4-year-old little girl, she had the ghairah and the ghairat of the household of Prophet Muhammad and his family members. He said, all I want to do is turn off the fire from your clothes. She allows him to turn off the fire from her clothes. Then, having gained her trust, she asks him, "O Sheikh, tell me the direction to Najaf al-Ashraf." When Imam Ali left this world, all the orphans in Kufa came out, started doing matam, because the one who helped them every night with food and water and took care of them had left this world. He says to this Sakina, "Oh, little girl, what do you have in Najaf? Najaf is far away. What are you going to do in Najaf?" She says to him, "My grandfather is in Najaf, and I will go to him and I will say to him, oh, grandfather, Dada Jan, you used to help the orphans. This is the orphan of Hussain, Dada. This is the orphan of Hussain." The women and children scatter all throughout the plains of Karbala. And time comes when Lady Zainab and Kulthum are about to gather all the women and children together. Lady Zainab and Kulthum, Sakina's earrings are snatched right off of her ears. They say that Shimr, when he saw Sakina and her earrings, he thought that they would look good on his daughter, so he snatched them off the ear. Sakina says, "Oh Sheikh, if you had wanted, I would have given you my earrings. Why did you have to snatch them off my ears?" The women and children scatter throughout the plains of Karbala. Lady Zainab Salamullahi alayha and Lady Kulthum, they decide it's time to gather all the women and the children. I will not take much more of your time. They decide it's time to gather all the women and the children together. They go. And Lady Kulthum and Lady Zainab, one of them, they go to a faraway place in Karbala and they see two bodies. It looks like two children are sleeping. As they go near, they realize that these children were in their final sleep, that the horses' hooves had trampled over the body of these two children. These two children had become shaheed. Lady Zainab gathers and Kulthum, they gather all the women and the children, and they notice that Sakina is missing. So Lady Zainab goes to the battlefield looking for Sakina. She goes looking throughout the plains of Karbala for Sakina. She says she found Sakina lying in the plains, in the battlefield, in the Maqtal, in the Qatl Gah, next to a body. And the body was saying, "Sister Zainab, stay quiet. My little Sakina is sleeping. My Sakina is sleeping." You know what happens? Lady Zainab wakes Sakina up. "Sakina, it's time to go." Lady Sakina does not want to leave the side of her father. She says to Sakina, "Sakina, how did you recognize this to be the body of your father?" She says that on Zainab, "I was running around the battlefield, the battlegrounds of Karbala. I was calling out for my father. A voice cried out, 'Ilayya, Ilayya, 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 Sakina, this is your father Hussain. I am resting in this place.' Sakina says, 'I had wanted to sleep on the chest of my father, but I saw that there were too many arrows on my father's body, so I made some room on the side, and I lied down.' Lady Zainab says, 'Sakina, it is time to go. It is time to go.' Lady Zainab, salamullahi alayha, they say that it is time to go. On one instant, they say that one Shaqih, la'anatullahi alayh, when they had wanted to loot Abu Abdullah al-Husayn's body, he says that he saw a ring on Abu Abdullah al-Husayn's ring finger, and he thought this ring was good for him to wear, so he wanted to take off the ring. The ring would not budge from the finger of Abu Abdullah, so he chopped the finger of Abu Abdullah, and he took off the ring. As soon as he did that, the arsh started to move and tremble. He went behind a hiding place or behind a rock or a tree, and he hid. And then the skies opened. Down came Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt. He looked at this person saying, I will not grant you my shifa. I will not grant you my shifa. Look at what they did to Imam al-Hussain, salamullahi alayh. One tradition states that the wife of Hur, when Hur came with his family, with his son and his slave and his wife, she bought some water. On Shaam Ghareeban, they say that they got some water. But then when it came to giving the water, they said the lady Zainab gave the water back to Sakina. She said to her, Sakina, but Sakina said to her Aunt Zainab, but you are thirsty too. She says, Sakina, it is our tradition that we always give water and food to the youngest first. Lady Sakina, she takes the water bag and she starts running to the battlefield. Lady Zainab says, Sakina, where are you going? Sakina says, Aunt Zainab, you said that the youngest person always gets the water first. My 6-month-old baby, Ali al-Asghar, baby brother, is thirsty as well. He is younger than I am. I want to give him water. I conclude this Majalis session with 2 more rawaya. It is said that on Shaam Ghareeban, once Lady Zainab took a broken sword and she was doing the baraha of her family members and the companion and the women folk of the haram of Abu Abdullah. She stopped and she said once, Ya Ali adrikni, Ya Ali adrikni. She says, Ya Ali adrikni, and then she sees a horse rider. It's coming. The horse rider has a veil on his face, covering his face. She says to him, stop. The sister of Hussain tells you to stop. He does not stop. The sister of Abbas tells you to stop. He does not stop. The daughter of Fatima tells you to stop. He does not stop. The granddaughter of Rasulullah tells you to stop. He does not stop. She says the daughter of Ali tells you to stop. He stops. He removes the veil from his face. Lady Zainab looks at her father. This is her father, Ali. Her father, Ali, came to help her. He says, Zainab, when Lady Zainab realizes this is her father, Ali, she says, she runs to the women folk, saying, oh women, do any one of you have a chadar or hijab for me? My father has never seen me without my hijab. One by one, the women and children, they get condolences from Imam Ali. They send their salams to Imam Ali. Lady Sakina does not send her salams. The little Sakina does not come to her father. He says to Sakina, Sakina, are you upset with your grandfather? She says, no, grandfather. But now I understand what the value of being a daughter is. She says, what, Sakina? Grandfather, when my brother Ali al-Akbar was being slaughtered, I called you, you did not come. When Qasim was being slaughtered, I called you, you did not come. When all Muhammad were being slaughtered, I called you, you did not come. When Al-Abbas was slaughtered, I called you, you did not come. When my father Hussain was slaughtered, I called you, you did not come. One time your daughter Zainab says, Ya Ali adrikni, Ya Ali adrikni, and you come to her assistance. Now I know what the importance of a daughter is. And then Lady Zainab gets condolences from Imam Ali. They find some time after Lady Zainab and the Kulthum have gathered all the women and children. One of the daughters of Abu Abdullah, they say it was Sakina. She had the habit of reciting Salat al-Layl with her father, Namaz al-Shab with her father. She gathers her musalla and the musalla of her father. But then when she gets up for the prayer, her father is not there. I conclude with this one final statement, dear brothers and sisters. Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, salamullahi alayh, when he left this world, he said to his sister, Lady Zainab, oh Zainab, Do not forget me in your Salat al-Layl. Salat al-Layl consists of 11 rak'ah, 8 rak'ah of Salat al-Layl, 2 rak'ah of Salat al-Shaf, and 1 of Salat al-Witr. Now imagine when Lady Zainab raised her hands up for Salat al-Witr. How she remembered her brother Hussain, I don't know. Whether she remembered the childhood, or the fact that she never lived without her brother, or whether she remembered the severed head that was just put on a lance. All I know is that Lady Zainab offered Salatul Layl once again, and she remembered her brother. Matami Hussain. Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain.
बेटा है तू अली का, ज़हरा की तू दुआ है, शबीर तेरा आका, उम्मुल बनीन माँ है, हर सूरत और चलन में हैदर से ना जुदा है, ताशरे तुझसे कायम, दुनिया में बस वफा है। अब्बास 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 अब्बास, तेरे अलम खुदा में हर शख्स कह रहा है, मजलूम करबला का ज़ैनब का वास्ता है। परदेसी कोई ऐसा परदेस में ना उजड़े, सदक़े में उसके जिसका घर बार लुट गया है। अब्बास 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 अब्बास, उस वक्त जब कि ज़ैनब दरबार में गई थी, कारी नमाजियों से महफिल सजी हुई थी, ज़ालिम ये पूछता था, गाज़ी तेरा कहाँ है, बालों से मुँह छुपाए ज़ैनब ये कह रही थी, है अब्बास 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 अब्बास। शाम गरीबा में जिस का कुर्ता जल गया है, कानों से बालियां भी है मिल गया है, इस बेबसी से मौला बाजी कोई ना तरसे, फर्शे अज़ा पे रो कर हर दिल ये कह रहा है अब्बास 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 अब्बास। जितने भी अश्के मौला किरता से पर गिरे हैं, मासूमा की कसम ही गाजी फकत तेरी है। वो कुछ रकम करूं मैं जो ना रकम हुआ है, अल्फाज़े हो अता कर यावर से जो पढ़े हैं। अब्बास 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 अब्बास,
Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. To Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. From Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. To Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. The luminous moon lighting the way, the rising sun that brightens the day. Heaven without you would be in flames. You're the heaven in Karbala. The luminous moon lighting the way, the rising sun that brightens the day. Heaven without you would be in flames. You're the heaven in Karbala. Your visitors offer you their hands. Enemies will never understand. How can the water lose to the sand? How can the thirst win in Karbala? Why heaven is open, Ya Hussain? Why angels descending, Ya Hussain? Why they are residing in Karbala? Why heaven is open, Ya Hussain? Why angels descending, Ya Hussain? Why they are residing in Karbala? From Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. To Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. From Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. To Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. The hand of God that nurtures the young, speaking for Allah, you were the tongue, separating his rights from the wrong, elevated in Karbala. The hand of God that nurtures the young, speaking for Allah, you were the tongue, separating his rights from the wrong, elevated in Karbala. The ship that sails swiftly through the waves, and whoever boards your ship is safe, immune from the punishment of the grave. Whoever mourned you in Karbala, when will we meet again, Ya Hussain? When under your dome will I grieve again? From Najaf will I walk to Karbala? When will we meet again, Ya Hussain? When under your dome will I grieve again? From Najaf will I walk to Karbala? From Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. To Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. From Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. To Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. From Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. To Karbala, Karbala, Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. I left my heart in Karbala. It's in Karbala. Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain, Ya Hussain. Ya Hussain, 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 Ya Hussain.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين. العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى جميع شهداء كربلاء خصوصا أبا الفضل العباس. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين زين العابدين. السلام عليك يا إمام محمد الباقر علم النبيين. السلام عليك يا إمام جعفر الصادق. السلام عليك يا إمام موسى الكاظم. السلام عليك يا إمام علي بن موسى الرضا. السلام عليك يا إمام محمد بن علي الجواد. السلام عليك يا إمام علي بن محمد الهادي. السلام عليك يا إمام حسن بن علي الزكي العسكري. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. أجرك الله يا بقية الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته بالنبي وآله. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات. اللهم